Welcome back to the I Get Better podcast. It's been quite a while since you have seen our faces or heard our voices. So we are coming back to you now, reintroducing ourselves. So I am Charlene Renee. Charlene Renee Coles is my full name. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of Florida. Currently working in private practice, running a practice here in Gainesville, Florida called All Well Health Services. Phaedra and I have been co hosting the I Get Better podcast together for over 4 years now. So you may have heard some of our old episodes, but we are now going forward, going to be coming to you live via video. So, Phaedra, would you introduce yourself again to the people?
Yes, so I am Phaedra, and my private practice is called Greenhouse Counseling, and I'm located in Pensacola, Florida, Panhandle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Charlene and
P. Cola.
I, but Charlene and I did not meet in Pensacola. We met at UF as roommates. So,
Yes, the Gator
absolutely,
Nation. Over 20 years
that's
ago. We've been
crazy.
friends for a long time. We've been
That's a
rocking.
long
So,
time. But yeah,
yes, and we came together as friends and then professionally, both getting into the mental health field. So we're bringing this to enlighten, encourage, to teach, to motivate, to train, to do all of the things. So I Get Better is just a podcast that focuses on getting better at various things, various topics. So if you've listened to us in the past, you kind of know our structure, our format of what we do, but we're going to get into it
yeah.
now with the latest episode. So, you want to introduce the topic for today?
So the topic is I get better when I try.
When I
When I
try.
try.
Okay. Yeah, so we always start our podcast off with defining the thing that we're going to be discussing. So we give our personal definition of the word, and then we go ahead and go to the dictionary and give the dictionary definition of the term or the topic that we are going to be discussing. And then we get into going over some of the barriers to accomplishing that thing, and then we talk about ways to get better. So, do you want to share what is your personal
Personal
definition of the
definition
word
of the
try?
word try. I honestly just to make an effort to do something. What about yours?
Okay. So, my definition is an intentional, focused effort exerted to accomplish a task or a goal. So, it's intentional, it's focused, and we're exerting this
Mm,
effort towards a task or goal. So, I'm going to pull up the dictionary definition because we always want to give them the dictionary definition of the word, which is to make an attempt or effort to do something.
yeah,
So basically a combination of what we
yeah,
both discussed. So let's talk about why it's important and why we wanted to bring this topic up today. Because, you know, we've talked about so many things over the past
yeah.
4 years, but this is something that you and I were talking about amongst ourselves, and we thought it was important to bring this topic to the podcast. So, why do you think it's important that we talk about how to get better at trying?
Um, I think because so many people, including what we discover, even ourselves, struggle with what it takes to even try. And we see people even in practice, in private practice, we see people. Some of the biggest um, problems that a lot of people face is the fear of trying and then the
Mm-hmm.
repercussions of not trying. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important because it covers a lot of areas of people's lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that quite often people will sabotage themselves
Hmm.
by not making an effort to try to do something new or
Yeah,
try to do something that's out of their comfort zone. And they'll come with an attitude of defeat
yeah,
before they ever get started. And so now the work becomes convincing them that they can do as opposed to co signing on the idea that they can't. And so being able to talk about what the barriers are to trying so that we can talk about how to get over that and how to get better at that.
yeah.
And I think it's important. So let's jump right into what are some of the barriers? What are some things that get in the way of a person making a decision to put the effort in to try?
Well, I think for me, one of the things that I've seen quite often, actually, like a couple days ago, was even like how you speak to yourself. I realize sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
don't give ourselves escape routes. We give ourselves
Mm-hmm.
a lot of mental barriers. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I want to work out, but I can't find the time. I don't have this. I might hurt my knee. Like we have all of these reasons why, and some of them are legit, but
Mm-hmm.
some of them are like we have no idea if this is true or not. But we just foresee in the
Right.
future, and we just trying to avoid possibly hurting our knee. You know?
Right. So it's the thinking, right? It
Yeah.
starts in your mind. It's that faulty thought process. It's making assumptions about what is possible for you and what might not be possible for you based on a lot of the time, no evidence, but just something that you can imagine in your head that might be true.
Correct.
And then someone could even come to you and present you with an alternative thought or an alternate or opposite thought, and you just do not want to hear it. You
Correct.
would just be like, no, that's not that's not possible for me. That's not accurate for me. That's not relevant to me. So that mindset and making assumptions about what you can and can't do before you even get started is one of the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the another barrier is lack of information
Yes.
on the subject or the task. So just having a sort of ignorance to or a naive mindset about something and not wanting to do the extra work
Mm-hmm.
that requires researching or finding out more about it. So just saying, I don't know, and then leaving it at that.
Right.
I don't know, and not making an effort to try to find out.
Right.
So having a lack of information is a barrier. I think another major barrier to someone making a decision to try is a history of failure
Mm.
or their past. And so let's talk a little more about that because people will say, well, I did that before, or I tried and it didn't work. And so I'm not going to try again. Like, that's it. I'm done. I quit.
Yeah.
And that really keeps a person defeated. It keeps them from things that could be uh, possible to them or available to them in the future, but they've just decided, like, I'm just going to give up because it didn't work the first time I tried, or
Yeah.
the second time for that matter.
Or it didn't work for my parents, or it didn't work for somebody I knew. I think
Mm-hmm.
so. I would call that like a low risk capacity. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't. It's hard for you to take risk in your life, and
Okay.
maybe that's because of experiences from other people or for your experiences that you have had in your own life.
Okay. So you're talking about a projection of someone else's experience
Yeah.
onto your own life.
Correct.
So, well, my mom tried it, my dad
Yep.
tried it, my brother, my sister, my cousin, my friend,
Yep.
and it didn't work for them. So, why should I believe that that's going to work for me?
Yeah.
Why should I believe that it's possible for me?
Yeah.
Which takes me to the other point, which was a barrier of a lack of exposure. So now you haven't been exposed to someone that has succeeded in the thing that you're attempting to accomplish. And so you believe that all you see is all there is to see,
Mm.
or all you've experienced or been exposed to is all that there is to experience and be exposed to. And so now you've put a limitation on yourself based on this faulty belief that, well, if someone else doesn't have it, then why should I believe that I can have it
Yep.
for myself? And so you've convinced yourself or talked yourself out of something that could very well may be for you based on someone else's historical experience.
Yeah.
And so that's something that you have to learn how to get over or through in order to get to the place where you're even willing to take
Yeah.
that chance or
Yeah.
take that risk.
Yeah. No, I agree
Because
with that.
trying is a risk. Let's be real. Trying is a risk. You may fail.
No, I mean,
So,
yeah. I feel like if we were to sum it up, it's mindset, which has to do with our belief system, and
mm-hmm,
also our capacity for taking risks, our capacity
mm-hmm,
for being able to sit with negative feelings or feelings that are hard.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
so I think that can be added to like some of the barriers that I found this quote the other day.
okay,
That's it says, "You are not a perfectionist. You are scared. You are scared of the following: failure, criticism, rejection, uncertainty, vulnerability, disappointing others, being seen as incompetent, feeling like you are not good enough. Perfectionism is
mm-hmm,
trying to protect you but in doing so, it is keeping you from growth, success, and genuine connection. And I thought that was pretty cool because I feel like that is also a barrier that keeps people,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm while I'm trying to protect myself from these things, I'm also it's becoming a part of who I am, my mindset, and how I view the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that what stuck out to me most in that quote is the fear of failure,
Mm,
the fear of rejection, right? Fear, right? So this is
yeah.
a fear-based response. I'm not going to try because I might fail, because I might be rejected, because I may not get the approval of someone else, because no one may celebrate it with me or
Mm,
encourage me. And so it's crippling and it's paralyzing. It's saying I don't want to be uncomfortable
right.
in any way, shape, or form.
Nobody likes to be
And trying
uncomfortable.
comes with discomfort, right?
Yeah.
Right. We had a whole episode on uncomfortable, right? Getting
Yeah.
uncomfortable, which you all should revisit because we talked a whole segment about what can come to you from being willing to get uncomfortable. Um, another thing I wrote down is a barrier
What?
that's just real laziness. Like some
Listen.
people are just lazy. And they
Some.
are like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything that's going to require any amount of extra effort. Like, one extra step is too much, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to do this first. There's people who will not go to college, who will not go take a class. Like, if I have to do a prerequisite or I have to go back and take another class, like, I'm not even going to do it, right? Because it's this one extra step,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and we live in a world and a culture now where things are so quick and convenient and everything's at our fingertips. Like people will legit, like I won't even go get gas if I have to go
Go
inside.
pay.
Like
Listen,
like
you.
if the
Yeah.
card reader is broken, I'm not. It's one extra step, right? And
Yeah.
so it's getting over that spirit of laziness because sometimes it is just pure laziness. Like
Yeah.
it's not even that the task is all that difficult. It's just a matter of I'm not willing to go above and beyond, or I'm
Yeah.
not willing to go out of my way. And for certain things, it does require more effort,
Yeah.
like more work
Yeah.
to accomplish. So that can definitely be a barrier to that success. But let's talk about how we can get better at trying, how we can encourage those who are listening to be willing to take the risk, be willing to face a fear, be willing
Mm,
to overcome some of those mindsets or those doubts that have kept you from going to the place of try
yeah.
and getting the ultimate success of accomplishing that goal or that task that you set for yourself. So, ways to get better. I'll start off with one of the things which I mentioned before is like examining your circle, like who is around you. Like, who are the people, who are the voices, who are the friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, etc., that you are allowing to be in your ear, because sometimes it's the people that you surround yourself with that are negative or who are doubtful or who will shoot down an idea that you might have or tell you what you cannot do, and you don't expose yourself to those who are giving you the opposite information. And so paying attention to and being mindful of who's in your circle, who are the people that are encouraging you and you're allowing to pour into you and who have your listening ear. So being mindful of that, and if you're noticing that there are people around you who speak negatively, who are always telling you what won't work or why it won't work, then you need to get away from them and you need to get into a space where perhaps you're by yourself because you may not be able to find that group or that team or that
Mm-hmm.
squad right away, but you get away from that negativity and that doubtful voice that is really keeping you from getting to the next level and keeping you from getting to a place where you can do something different.
I want to
What do you
piggy.
think?
I want to piggyback on that, and instead of um subtracting, I want to say like that we should add people to our circles that have been where we are trying to go. So like finding mentors or people that you can just say, "Hey, can I ask you some questions?" I mean, I
Mhm.
feel like it's a part of changing that mindset to where it's like, well, it can't be impossible because some people have done it. Lots of people
Right.
have gone to college. Somehow they find
Yeah.
a way to get there, or
Yeah.
they become this thing that I really want to be. Like, so it can't
Mhm.
be impossible, right? As
Right.
many people as I've seen maybe fail, how many people have succeeded? How did they
Yeah.
do it? So I think,
Yeah.
getting around people or finding a way to add people to your circle, even if it's in the way of just, mentorship, asking questions,
Mhm.
whatever. I think that that helps shift our mindset and broadens our worldview of
Mhm.
what's possible and what's not possible.
Yeah, so increasing your exposure to those who have gone where you're trying to go,
Correct.
and it may not be someone you know personally. It could be a celebrity. It could be someone famous. It could be a motivational speaker. It could be someone who has a story that is
Yeah.
similar to yours that you can connect with and identify. And with us being in the age of information now, it's all available to you. It could be someone on a whole nother country on the other side of the
Yeah.
world that can speak to you and who you can expose yourself to, that you can follow in their footsteps or model after. Or if you cannot absolutely find that, and if you can't, I would say you're probably being lazy, then be willing to be the trendsetter. Be willing to be the first. Be willing to be the one who's going to go where someone else has not gone before, because there may be times in your life where that may be the case, where you are setting a trend or you're creating a new pattern or a new habit or a new generational pattern in your family or in
Yeah.
your circle. You may be the one who's the leader. And so being willing to go first, I think, is also something that will help you be okay with trying. And I think also getting a better idea about what to expect
Oh,
when you
adjusting
actually try.
expectations.
Yes, adjusting
Yeah.
your expectations, because what you think success may look like may not be what it is in reality, or what
Correct.
you call success may minimize all those steps along the way. Like all those small wins, all of those things that you may have to remind yourself, like, I'm not where I used to be, or this is
Yeah.
better than where I came from, and acknowledge
Right.
that as success, as opposed to only the final destination, only the
Yeah.
thing at the end. And it can't just be based on some type of shallow benchmark, which may be money or monetary, success, but just being able to adjust your expectations to what the reality is and not just what you imagine it might be. And it's not to say don't imagine greatness or big things for yourself. It's just saying, okay, can I bring my expectations down to a place where I can actually celebrate when I'm winning and not only when I get to the final
The
destination.
final. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think along with that is what experiences, really evaluate what experiences have told me this thing, like that, this negative belief, and then revisiting them with fresh eyes,
Mm-hmm.
which leads me to like, if you are willing to like do something different, like have a coach or a therapist or somebody else in your corner, I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes that fresh eyes, that fresh perspective comes with having support. So,
Yeah. Yeah, because it may not be just only you who has your
right,
answer or who has your insight or
correct.
who has your knowledge. Which, just to add to that, being willing to see that there are other ways to get to. So, as you said, so
Yeah,
having alternative strategies, alternative ways to accomplish a thing, because the way that you may come up with in your own mind to that point may not be the way that leads you to your ultimate goal or your success. So, bringing in a mentor, bringing in a therapist, a coach, someone who can come with a third party perspective or a fresh set of eyes
yeah,
may just be that missing piece or that link
yeah,
to where it isn't as much of a risk because they're telling you or teaching you something that you otherwise wouldn't have known or come up with
Yeah.
on your own. And so if you think that you have to do it by yourself, that could also be a barrier to you wanting to try. But if you know, oh, I have someone else in my corner, or I have someone else I can call on who could give me advice, who could tell me something that I maybe didn't know about this or give me some insight, then I have a greater chance of lowering that risk of failure.
Right. Or increasing my risk capacity. You
That too.
know, now, yeah, now I'm able to see that even if I fail with this, that doesn't mean it has to be over because you got people
Right.
in your corner to support you as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. And then, like, lastly, what I would want to say is building your confidence and
Yeah, which is
building
hard
your faith.
sometimes.
Like, those are the things that I
Yes.
think are key, your confidence and your faith. Because,
Yeah.
and confidence is a thing that I think is really difficult to teach someone
Yeah.
to be confident because I've
Yeah.
tried a lot in the course of my work with clients. And it's a uphill battle when someone has low confidence in themselves and their ability. But what I typically start off with when we're talking about building confidence is exploring competence, your
Mm.
competency. What can you do that you know you can do, that you have a history of doing? And remind yourself of that. What are the skills you have that you've been able to replicate and duplicate for all of this time in your life, and how can you move those skills into this area perhaps? So your confidence is not just in I'm going to always get it right or I'm always going to win. It's
Right.
what do you know already about yourself that you're capable of? And so reminding yourself of your competencies, I am competent in this skill set, and so I can
Yeah.
take that skill and apply it now to this new thing that I maybe have never done before. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm really good at being very organized. Like, people can come to me. I'm just hypothetical. That's not me. But a
Yeah.
person who's very good at being organized, that's a competency. Like, that's a skill
Yeah.
set. And you could take that, expertise in that particular skill set and apply it to other areas. And you can boost your confidence by reminding yourself, like, of who you are. And then
No,
the
that's
faith
good.
piece, right? The faith piece, that's, I think, also a requirement because it's believing that you will succeed before you actually see it, before it actually shows up, before it becomes your reality. And that is, I think, the risk factor that a lot of people are hesitant to feed into because you really don't know.
Yeah,
You just
but
have to believe.
I, but you know what? The Bible says faith comes by hearing.
Okay.
So if we gonna get into it, hearing and then doing. So I gotta have some kind of knowledge of what I say I believe in. Number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get that knowledge by how am I obtaining it? Reading the Bible, going to church, like being around people that have similar faith beliefs that I have. But
Mm-hmm.
then doing, like I think I can only like counsel or coach you so far before you have to actually do the thing. You have to expose yourself to the risk so we
Yeah.
can know what's there and we can expand your capacity for this thing. But that's
Right.
how faith is built. We have to eventually do the thing
Do.
as well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Do it with the belief that it's going to work, and not doubt. So combating the doubt about it not working with the faith that it
Yeah.
will, and just
Yeah.
blindly believing sometimes, not blindly because I didn't do any work or research, but blindly like because I just believe it's going to work.
Yeah.
And until I see it, because when I see it in reality, then there's no need for faith at that point because I see it.
Right.
And so it has to happen before it actually shows up. And so building your faith muscle, building your confidence muscle, I think that's the one of the first things to do, along with the
I agree.
mindset change, along with
Yeah.
paying attention to the voices that you're allowing to speak into you, along with maybe cutting off and setting some boundaries around the
Hmm.
people who don't impart or encourage or lift
Yeah.
up or build up or share, oh, well, what if you do it this way, and give you some alternatives, give you some ideas, instead of just shutting down the idea and saying, well, you can't, or it's not going to work, or just give up, or just
I
quit.
agree.
So
Yeah.
all of those things, I think, will help us get better at trying, help us move to the next level of just talking about doing something, or talking about what we cannot do, and actually getting
Yeah.
active and pursuing a goal or a task with effort, so that you can accomplish things and be
Yeah.
successful. And hopefully this is helpful to those listening, that
Yeah.
they'll be able
I
to
mean, I
to
think
be willing to try.
I think it'll improve a lot of things. It improves your own self esteem. Trying does, I think.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and it improves relationships. How many times have you gotten tired of somebody saying, "I'm gonna do this," and you just like, really, like, you almost don't trust them no more, and you
That's
don't trust
true.
yourself either. If you're honest, like,
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, don't talk about it, be about it.
Right.
So
Yeah. I didn't
yeah,
even consider that aspect, building trust
yeah,
and esteem for
yeah,
yourself. Because yeah, you can trust in yourself, because you can remind yourself, I did that. I I put the work in. I went after that goal. I went after that, and I actually succeeded. And I trust that I can make good decisions, and I trust that I can be reliable to myself. And then other people can
yeah.
start to rely on you too, because they know that your words come with action.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think that's really good because I think perfectionism says I can't because I don't want all these things to happen to me, but like actually trying, it gives you the opposite. It actually, you might succeed instead of fail,
Hmm.
or improve your, increase your risk tolerance. You might not be rejected, right?
Right.
Like you might expand your capability of being vulnerable, which can only help you in various areas of your life.
Right.
um, you might not disappoint others, right? Or you might learn that disappointing others is just a part of life. So
Hmm.
there's all these good things that'll come from it.
Right.
So we just gotta try.
Yes, yes. So we'll wrap it up there. I think that we were able to go over the definition, the barriers, and the ways to get better at trying. So we hope
Yeah.
that you all will continue to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the I Get Better podcast. And we're back now, so we're gonna come
Yeah.
back. We just been working. We've been trying. That's
We've
what
been
we've been busy
trying.
trying. Right? We've been trying
Yeah.
a lot of things. Phaedra's doing some new things. I'm doing some new things. Things we haven't done
Yeah.
before within
Yeah.
our profession, within our businesses. So we're walking
And
this
it's
out in
scary.
real time. Yes, it is,
Yeah.
but
It's
not when we know that the outcome is going to be successful ultimately.
yeah.
And so
Or
yes,
ultimately we'll be okay no matter what. So
yes, that too. We will be okay,
yeah.
and we'll be willing to continue to try even if things don't
Yeah.
work out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we will be coming back again with more episodes, more frequently, more regularly,
Yeah.
as we used to. So, that's it. Let's keep getting
All
better.
right. What's our little outro thing?
We add that in on the back end. Oh, we get back what
It's
we
something.
do better so we can be better. Yeah. See, you're supposed to, we
Yeah.
haven't done
Yeah.
this in a
Well,
while.
yeah. We'll get you
We'll
next
add
time.
it back in later. All right. So
All
that's
right.
it.
Bye.
Bye.